Hey everyone, my name is John Williams with Kimberly Nurseries, and today we're going to talk about some basic things you should do to maintain a newly laid sod lawn. Installing sod is the fastest way to have a lush, fully established lawn. I often say that installing sod is like buying time. It's typically more expensive than a seeded lawn, but it'll grow in and become established much sooner. It can take a seeded lawn anywhere from a year to 2 years to get to the same point that sod is at after just a few weeks. It's also possible to install sod at virtually any time of year. Sod is typically grown in large fields with plenty of sunlight, so it typically does best in full sun. It's harvested by cutting the roots of the grass about an inch below the surface of the ground and rolled up into rolls. As with most types of plants, consistent water is a critical part of getting your new sod established. So the initial watering right after laying the sod should typically run for a bit longer of a period, and that promotes deep watering, which allows the water to penetrate several inches down into the soil. Following the initial water application, sod needs to be watered several times per day. If the sod is installed in the spring or in the fall when the temperatures are a bit cooler, there may only be need to water 2 or 3 applications per day. But if the sod is installed in the heat of the summer, then 5 or 6 watering times may be needed to keep the grass from drying out. The roots in the new sod are just in the soil layer and are quite short, and they can dry out fairly quickly. So consistent watering encourages those roots to branch out and take hold of the existing soil. If something happens and the sod does happen to dry out a bit, don't panic too much. There's often the potential that that grass can come back from this, and just give it some time and return to a consistent watering schedule. It's generally recommended to keep any type of foot or pet traffic off of your new sod area during this initial establishment period. The consistent watering will make the soil underneath the sod quite soft and squishy. Walking on the new sod at this point can cause the sod to become uneven with footprints. After about 2 to 3 weeks of consistent watering, it may be time to cut the watering back a bit. It is best to check how well the sod is becoming established by attempting to lift the corner of one of the pieces of sod. If it lifts up easily, continue with consistent watering multiple times per day. So if the sod doesn't lift up easily, it means your sod is getting established, and it's possible to reduce the watering time to once or twice a day, depending on the time of year. After about 8 to 10 weeks, it's generally a good idea to reduce the number of watering days even further. Reducing the watering to only 3 days per week will encourage the grass roots to extend deeper into the soil, seeking out that water. Grass with deep roots require much less water and can withstand drier periods. After the new sod has had a chance to get established, it's time for the first mowing. Again, you can check how well the lawn is established by gently pulling up on a section of the sod. If it pulls up easily, replace the sod and wait for it to become more established. Before you mow, turn the water off for a period of time to allow the soil to become firm. It's also recommended to use a push mower if possible to avoid leaving ruts in the grass. Adjust your mowing height so you're only removing about 1/3 of the grass blade. Sod can be very hungry. After the sod's been in for about a month, it's generally a good idea to apply a 16-16-16 fertilizer to help replenish the nutrients and encourage strong root growth. Further applications of fertilizer should be applied every 6 to 8 weeks or so. Typically early spring, mid-spring, summer, and fall are good times to apply fertilizer. A good fertilizer program helps to promote a strong, healthy lawn that will often have fewer problems with weeds, insects, or disease. Sod really is the best way to get an instant lawn. If we can help you get your new lawn installed, or if you need some help adjusting sprinklers or watering times, please don't hesitate to give us a call. We are always happy to help.